So, for those of you who are working on the independent investigation, um, the short hit list that I made, none of those people, they all implicate Weinbergers and Goldwaters. That's why the police don't care if they run and turn themselves in. Because Kinnear doesn't actually work for actual police officers. Maybe McAfee, but they already know McAfee's going down anyway. So they don't give a shit. Um, and that social worker. But yeah, with Burl and Caton's being military and military dependents, that means they're working for Weinbergers and Goldwaters just like Vet Glenn. So if they run for witness protection, then the police are like, fine. Because we have to answer to DHS tells us what to do anyway, so it's no skin off our back. And if they don't run and get witness protection, they're probably going to end up OD'd, hit by car accident, bus accident, plane, train, whatever. Because not all of it, I'm not excluding all of our old video. I'm excluding our old video of, my earbuds. I thought my earbuds were in, they're not. I'm just excluding the old video of the actual lynchings where the police shot somebody. And it was always the same police. Not necessarily beat cops. It could be a sheriff, a sheriff's deputy, a state patrol, whatever. We're talking 70s and 80s. Most of those people were already old. They're probably dead. There's probably nobody for you to prosecute in those murders anyway. But their kids, most of them made a lot of money off that drug trafficking and money laundering and whatever else. They've got businesses, and they don't want that video bringing down their business. So these local cops ain't protecting other cops in Missouri and Arkansas. They're protecting their business names. And they've agreed to do that. So Becky Burrell and Autumn Caton and your piece of shit pappy, Dan Crenshaw, wannabe fucking shill piece of shit daddy, better go get you some witness protection. Because these local cops have signaled that, yes, they are going to put you down, not for cops in Missouri, but for their kids who now are big business owners who don't want the businesses and their family names, and it really ain't got shit to do with my parents. That doesn't mean that those murders aren't going to be investigated, because I'm excluding the video of the actual shootings if I read your obituaries. And obituaries ain't going to be enough. Chad wrote up an obituary. That wasn't enough. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I see an obituary, okay, I'll exclude it. It's not going to be quite that easy. And they already know what they have to do to prove that the deed was done. There's this thing called a Polaroid. They can make private videos and get those videos that don't implicate anybody, just shows the carnage, get it on a flash drive and get it to me. Until I get that proof of death, they they're not off the hook, and I'll get it. But it doesn't mean that all those murder victims aren't going to get justice, because it doesn't. I'm not going to exclude the audio and video of my mother threatening me to shut up about it, her sister threatening me to shut up about it, Meredith threatening me, Darla Munoz threatening me to shut up about it. Oh, trust me, they're going to be using the ground radar and the cadaver dogs, and oh yeah, some properties are going to get tore up, because I still got Busker telling me what farms, she named a couple of farms. I don't remember the names. I didn't know the people where bodies were buried, including old wells. They were just thrown down old wells, probably not necessarily dead when they were tossed down there. Oh yeah, it's going to be the Zorro Ranch all over again on a bunch of properties in Missouri. But it's different when it's an investigation and they're just taking out cadaver dogs and ground penetrating radar, and there being actual video footage of a cop or a state trooper or whoever shooting somebody because of this drug dealer, that drug dealer, whatever. And then that cop gets their kids and they own a meat packing business or whatever. That may end up, what you guys may just come up missing. And then they just send you to the meat packer and you get turned into ground beef with ground beef and ground pork and ground, somebody eats your ass. Or they take you to the Everglades and let the alligator. I have no idea how they're going to prove to me that they did what they did, but they know obituaries aren't enough. And if you do run and get witness protection, it's not going to be any skin off the cops' backs, because you were hired, you were given incentive to murder me and murder Ben and murder Brandy and murder Alfonso and murder Michaela Raines and help them unleash a bioweapon that killed God knows how many people nationwide, much less locally. To cover for their healthcare fraud, to cover for Paul Dragon, the Weinbergers, and the Iran-Contra shit. What I'm promising has nothing to do with that. Well, I mean, it does a little bit, but for the most part, it doesn't. It's not, those shootings don't implicate Trump or the Clintons or anybody directly. It's just people getting killed over drugs and the cops doing the killing out in the woods. So that is literally not even Vermont's jurisdiction. Well, I guess it could be if you guys end up dead, but hey, I told them to get me. The bad guys, the police, the corrupt cops have the recording of the phone call where Sarah George's victims advocates twice in one day tell me to go fuck myself. They want me to contact McAfee. Never mind. McAfee already sent me her business card when I was referred to her after I filed the restraining order against Paul Dragon for falsifying my records and using all of his subordinates at all these places to falsify records and refuse me cancer treatment, and then hired idiotic PIs who were masturbating in front of my tent. What else do I need to tell her? What else does she need to know? Does she need a play-by-play? But the point is, they refused me victim services, want to use me as bait, fine. But guess what? You want an assassin, you want to put an assassin in harm's way, expect that assassin to protect herself however she sees fit. I'm not going to question how Sarah George and Cousy and the Sheriff's Department and Governor Hochul are doing her job, or Becca Ballant, y'all do your job. You're brilliant. I'm loving it. I got my popcorn. I'm enjoying the show. But I'm still out here in harm's way. Woke up under a bunch of snow. Got snowed on all night. I'm in renal failure right now because of food poisoning, because the health department that isn't doing oversight on the doctors isn't doing oversight on these restaurants who aren't closing at night. Meaning they're not sanitizing the place. So it's a salmonella factory in here. Only the past 3 days I've been so sick and for so long with food poisoning that today, yesterday, and the day before were the first 3 days in weeks that I haven't had to eat Imodium AD or Dramamine for food poisoning. That's how disgusting this restaurant is. And there's other employees who have affirmed, yeah, the management no, and it's the management that's letting it happen. Because there's no oversight at the Department of Health, not on restaurants. That means if McDonald's is doing it, there's a whole lot of other restaurant and other food services that are maximizing profits and not doing what they need to do to keep the place sanitary, because they know there's not going to be any sanctions or any issues from the health department. So everybody probably needs to be careful of everywhere they eat. Make sure you're eating at a restaurant that actually does their job, and the employees, and they're doing their job, and they're keeping the place sanitized, and they're doing their closing procedures and breaking everything down, and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, you idiots. Oh, and another thing, for all you cops, if you keep your fucking snitches in my face, that means you've reneged on the deal and said, fuck you, we don't want your deal. You keep the motherfuckers out of my face. You had Kinnear in my face the other day after you signaled you're going to kill him. Okay, he's looking awfully nervous, I can tell you that. So, you don't get to have it both ways. I'm not going to make that shit go away if you're going to keep any of them in my face. I don't give a fuck whether it's Kinnear, the Catons, and something better happen with that fucking bullshit restraining order. You better get that shit dealt with too. And if that means taking her and her pappy out, so be it. But it better be done.